What's up, my friend? Hey, it's Ryan Coral from Tell Studios and Studio Sherpas, and this is a live. I've hit a milestone. I have recorded. I've produced 299 episodes of our podcast. Actually, only 298 are public. 299 is coming out on Monday. And then this right here is episode 300. So you're getting a sneak peek at episode 300. I thought it would be more fun and engaging for me to go live. Normally solo episodes, I do them by myself. I love having guests on the show because there's interaction. But I thought I would show up live and just bring you into this experience. You're gonna hear this episode before the rest of the world does. Before we edit out all of my uhs and ums. And you're not even going to hear the cool podcast music because I don't have that on this board with me at the studio today. So sorry about that. So just a quick background, and then I'm going to do like my normal introduction for the podcast because we're going to need that for when we edit this and produce it and release it to the world. But real quick, I just want to see, like, is it working? Okay, it looks like chat, increase your Facebook group. Okay. Yeah, allow stream to show my name. I have no idea what I'm doing. I always love messing with technology. Today I'm using Riverside, which is the software that I record my podcast to, and I'm pushing to Restream, which is pushing to LinkedIn, YouTube, and a private Facebook group of filmmakers. So, yeah, say hi if you can hear me, because otherwise I'm just not going to pay attention to the chat. I'm not sure if I broke this thing or if it's working. I'll just wait a couple of seconds here. Can I show the chat overlay? I'm not going to do that. Okay. One final check here. I just want to confirm. Okay, I am live on at least Facebook. That's working. And who knows about LinkedIn, but click this button. Not sure. Regardless, I'm here. If nobody in the world can hear me, that's fine, because this, goes out to all my podcast people. Quick backstory. So 17 years ago, I started a video production business. Today, that business is called Tell Studios. We work mostly with businesses. We create sales and marketing video with soul, as we like to say, to help them connect with their ideal audience and sell more of their product or service to have a greater impact in the world. That's the work that I've been able to do for a whole bunch of years. It's so fun, so fulfilling. I've got an incredible team. Our studio is here just north of Detroit, Michigan. And about 6 years ago, I had a crazy idea with my friend Matt, and we said, "Hey, let's educate filmmakers." We were already kind of doing that on stages, kind of across the country, speaking at events, and just doing some fun stuff like that. But we said, if we could do this like more like regularly and also get paid for it, it will make sense for us to do this even more regularly. And so we launched this thing called Studio Sherpas. That's this thing right here. And so that's what I've been doing for the past almost 6 years, or like maybe it has been 6 years. We've got this weekly podcast, and we've got digital courses and content, tons of free, valuable content that's really built around the business of production. So the content and the things that I create aren't, at least for filmmakers, it's not like how to shoot better, how to edit better, because, filmmakers are going to school for that. There's lots of other courses out there. But what I'm so passionate about is the business side of what we do. And so that's what the majority is that I talk about to my corporate and commercial filmmaking friends, my quote unquote competition. Yeah. So I had a post recently about that, and I'm all about community, not competition. So all of that to say, this podcast is not dedicated. My 300 podcast episode is dedicated. Yes, it's dedicated to the men and women in the filmmaking world, corporate and commercial filmmakers. That's really my target audience. So if that's not you, that's fine. I'm going to share today my journey about what I've learned the last 300 episodes of this show. A lot of filmmaking talk, but it might resonate. I hope some of it does. So if you will excuse me, what is this little... if I knew I was going to go live today, I would have maybe spent a little more time trying to straighten my hair out. But what are you going to do, Not every day can be a good hair day. Okay, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to pretend like this... I was going to say this is live. It is live, but I'm going to pretend like I'm just recording this for my audience. And if there are questions or things that actually pop up, then I'll answer them. But I don't think Restream is showing me anything. I'm just going to type a message and say hi, but I don't know where that's going. Oh, that's going to YouTube. Okay. Oh, let me see. Read only. Okay. LinkedIn and okay. Okay. Here we go. Cue the cool music that we normally have. What's up, friend? Hey, I am Ryan Coral from Studio Sherpas, and this is the Grow Your Video Business podcast, the show for corporate and commercial filmmakers, where we talk about the business of production. And on the show, we talk about things like sales and marketing, mindset and process, stuff that has helped me over the past 17 years running a video business. It's helped me build a 7-figure production business. If that's you, you're in the right place. And today's episode is a little different because I've invited a lot of people that are not in the corporate commercial filmmaking world to just hear some of my story. So I'm so glad that you are here. If you are a filmmaker and you're trying to grow your business and you're struggling, we've all been there. And it's not like a place that you probably will only be at once in your career. Doing this 17 years, there are multiple times throughout my career where I'm just like, oh my gosh, should I just quit? Count my losses because it is hard. It is so hard running a business, and especially early on being the only one doing it. So my hope is that you would not feel alone. Know that you're not alone. I have built this community to help encourage you and to help you know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people like you that want to grow, and we believe that growing together is the best way. So if you are trying to build a business that is consistent, where you're getting leads, you're charging what you're worth, and you're really building a solid foundation, I have a workshop where I teach 3 things that I've implemented over the last 17 years that have helped me be where I'm at today, where I still have a business, I have employees, we have a studio, our jobs are profitable, we don't book a client and then like walk away and like, oh my gosh, how are we going to make any money on this? So I've jam-packed the best things that I've learned that to help you. And you can get access to this workshop if you go to studiosherpas.com/workshop. It's an 80-minute workshop. And like I said, it's chock full of very actionable things. It's totally free. It's my gift to you. So go check that out. And I hope you get lots of value out of that. Episode 300. We are here. It's sort of crazy. I am so grateful to be in the spot where for 300 episodes, the goal has always been, what conversation can we have that can help somebody, that can give somebody a win in their video business? What conversation, what topic, what thing? A lot of things have happened in the world over the course of 6 years. And so something that was working 6 years ago might not work today. And so it's really just about like what's working today, and what are some things that no matter the time, no matter your location, what things are always true. And to think that, 300 episodes, that's 1 episode a week. That's I had Siri do some math for me. That's 5 3/4 of a year. So almost 6 years of podcasts. some cool stuff. We just crossed 500,000 downloads in the podcast. Just I don't know, last week or a couple of weeks ago. That's super exciting. What I want to share today are 5 things that I've learned over 300 episodes. Some of my biggest takeaways and things I've learned about myself, my business, this community of filmmakers. So I want to share that with you. But I want to share quickly before we get into that. I just kind of want to share some cool stuff that we've got cooking. Coming up in 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, in this studio space, which you can't really see. Can we zoom out? There's nobody on the other side of the camera. It's just me in the studio. In this studio space, we're going to have over 30 people from across the country meet here. Filmmakers and educators, and we're going to be learning, and we're going to be spending time together. This is called the Onward Summit. This is the 3rd time I've done this event. It is my favorite. So we're continuing with the Onward Summit. I am launching. So right now we have a YouTube channel, and on the YouTube channel, we share the full version of this show, video and audio. My goal before the end of the year, actually, it's my goal. It's been my goal since I think May. I'm like, okay, May, I'm launching it. Okay, June. Okay, life's really busy. Maybe August, September. We're in September. So October, I will be launching a shorter format, so maybe snippets from the YouTube channel or pieces, or I'm sorry, from the podcast, and also short 5 to 15 minute just teaching pieces that are very specific for YouTube, not necessarily for the podcast. So I'm really excited about creating more content to help you in your video business. I currently lead a mastermind of other filmmakers, and we're going to be announcing a brand new mastermind that I'll be launching and leading starting in early November. Really excited about that. I do one-on-one coaching with filmmakers, which is really, really fun to get to know people and your struggles, like your personal struggles in your business, and to share things that I've been through that are similar, and help create strategies for filmmakers to kind of go to the next level in their business. What else is coming up? We're going to be launching a paid coaching community at the beginning of next year. This is a goal of mine. I'm really excited. We had a community like that a couple of years ago, and just with the sometimes chaoticness of running a business by myself, which I'm not really anymore, hard to do all of the things. And so I'm slowly rolling out things that I can manage without trying to add more hours to my work week. If anything, I'm trying to figure out how to cut hours. So what else? Podcast will continue. The Video Business Academy, which is one of the courses that you probably have heard me talk about, we are adding more content to there. We just added a whole thing on LinkedIn. We've got a couple of more workshops that we're adding on for LinkedIn. If you're trying to get new leads and build relationships, I think LinkedIn is an awesome tool. So I'm going to share how we're using LinkedIn and some of the things that we're doing there. And what else? We're just doing all the things. Oh, and the Video Blueprint Method. There's a whole class that I'm going to teach inside of there, as well as some mini workshops that we'll be launching. So lots of fun stuff coming up that I'll definitely be talking about in future episodes of the podcast. Right now, I want to share 5 things that I've learned after 300 episodes of this show. The first thing, actually the 0. Okay, maybe it's 6 things. And I already talked about feeling gratitude for being able to have this opportunity, the fact that people listen to the show, the fact that it's been downloaded over 500,000 times, the fact that people come into this studio to talk business, to share ideas with their quote unquote competitor. The feelings that I get to experience because of that, it's hard to put into words. I am so grateful for this opportunity. I don't want to call it a job because it doesn't feel like a job. It really feels like a calling, and I am grateful because of the fulfillment that I get in being a part of this community, and to being able to know that the things that I've learned, the ways that I've failed, the struggles that I've had in my business, that those things can actually help other people. I think that's really beautiful. And may an encouragement be to you that in your story, whether it's business or in your personal life, the areas where you fail, in the areas where you struggle, like sometimes those are the stories and those are the moments that people need to see and hear so that they don't feel alone, so that they don't feel excluded or less than, because all of us have struggle. And it's really in the pain and the struggle in our lives that we come out on top and become more resilient, and we can encourage those that are right behind us. So I just think that's just the way that God has weaved our stories together, and the fact that in our pain we can actually there is purpose in that, and we can be help to other people. I just think that's amazing and incredible, and so the fact that I get to be in this spot is a huge gift. So that's number 0. Number 1. I snuck in a 6th one, but like for the podcast title, I'm not, or we're going to just say 5. So the first one, getting clear on your mission is vital. What do I mean by that? There's no way that if I wasn't really sure who I wanted to help when we first started this thing 300 episodes ago, 5 3/4 years ago, that I'd still be here, because I wanted to quit. There were a couple of times where my regular business, my production business, it was hard. Like there was just, it needed all of my time and energy, and I didn't have much to give. Also, there have been a couple of times where I'm just like tapping on the screen or like sending emails to all these filmmakers that, I have thousands of people on my email list, and like not getting a response, and or just like maybe not the response that I wanted, or not being encouraged along the way, and just feeling like maybe I'm irrelevant, maybe I'm too old, maybe like people just think I'm a joke. Those thoughts have all crossed my mind at one time or another, and so it's in those moments of just like, the quietness, the aloneness, where it's just like, I should just throw the towel in. Nobody's even going to notice. Nobody will even notice if I don't release another episode. I'm so glad that I've been able to push through that, and it hasn't been through my own strength, but I'm so glad that I have. When this show started, I intentionally was like, you know what? Let's number the show with 3 digits. So episode 1 was 001, and we needed to do that for the podcast apps and stuff. And I did that because I was inspired by a guy named Pat Flynn, who has this incredible podcast for online businesses and whatnot. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I see that, maybe I'm sort of speaking this into existence. If I do 001, then maybe one day I'll have 100 episodes of the show, and I'll be able to get all the way up to 999. Then what am I going to do after that? I have no idea. But I was like, man, this is pretty, Coral, you're taking off. You're biting. What's the saying? Biting off more than you can chew. Can you really do 100 episodes? But I could, because even before I ever made $1 in the education space helping, I was doing it for free for a long time, for years. And I would continue to do it. But, there are moments where, I'm going to networking meetings with other filmmakers, going to conferences and, speaking and doing all these things. And, and my wife never really said like, hey, it'd be nice if you were making money doing all that. But, without saying words, that's kind of how I felt more than once, and realized I didn't hit record. So we'll just have to. Okay, we're recording our Riverside, guys. Don't just everybody calm down. So knowing that if there was an opportunity to make some money to help justify like all the time that I was spending and wanting to spend more. To get paid, like there was a sense of guilt, like, wow, getting paid for something I'm so passionate about doing. But I know, and I've known from the beginning that regardless if I ever made any, when we got podcast sponsors and stuff and, selling courses, if I didn't make any money doing this, I'm pretty sure I would still do it. Um, those moments where I'm just like, is anybody listening? I've been encouraged along the way. The encouragement has come, I think, at the right times where I needed it to continue to push forward. And maybe one day, like the desire, the passion that I have, maybe it will be gone and I'll be on to the next thing, and that will be okay. I think, I don't really find my identity in this, but I do find a lot of value and a lot of worth knowing that right now, today, like I'm helping people. And once I stop helping people, then it will be time to move on. So get clear on your mission. If you are in business, it's so important to know who you serve. It's so important to know what their problems are. Like, without knowing who that is, like who you really want to serve, who you find fulfillment in, and then understanding what is it that they need. How can video help them, or whatever line of work that you might be in? When you can know those things, then you have a mission, right? It's about having conversations with people. It's about asking questions and really figuring out, are you ideal fit client for me? And if so, here's how video can help you. When you know that can drive you. If you're running a business and you're just kind of like, well, I'll just, like, whoever comes through the door or emails or calls, like, yeah, that's who my client is. Yeah. And you've got to do that, like, when you first start out. But the sooner you can dial in and say, like, man, this is what I'm so passionate. This is why I'm so passionate about. This is a type of client or type of industry that I love working with. Like, I could work on these kinds of projects till 2 a.m. If you ever have those feelings, like, let that kind of be an indicator for you to say, like, this is probably a sweet spot for me. And then bigger picture, like, what is your mission? Like, how are you trying to help and how are you trying to serve? And in writing that out and really being clear on that will help you. I mean, that's helped me. I mean, like I said, I'm still passionate about this industry. And the minute that I start sensing, like, I don't really care for filmmakers as much as I used to, then I want to tap out, because I think I've done stuff like this long enough to realize that life's too short, and I don't want to do stuff that I'm not passionate about or excited about. Number 2, authenticity is life-giving. I'm going to send a quick text message because I can. Don't mind me. I was going to chat with somebody right now, but forgot I was going to do this. Little bit longer. Okay. There we go. So professional. That's what happens with live video. You never know what you're going to get. Okay. So number 2 is authenticity. Case in point here, guys. Authenticity is life-giving. Being open, honest is the way to go. Not hiding behind a camera, not hiding behind a computer, not hiding behind a social media account that looks so good and all the photos are just the best ones. Being open, honest, obviously with your family, with your partner, your spouse, and also in business. I think for me, it has been so life-giving. When business has been hard and people ask me, hey, how's business? I'm like, they probably don't want this answer. They probably just want me to be like, oh, it's great. Or like, how's it going? I want to be honest. And a lot of times I am. Now, if I don't have time to, like, give them much context, then, I'm not gonna give them more than what I think they can handle. I remember this one event, 2016, the beginning of 2016, when this brand launched. I was a mess. For lack of a better word. I was all over the place. I was starting a new business. I was so excited about it. But guess what? I had multiple employees in my video production business. Multiple employees. We had a studio space. We had clients, all this stuff. And it was kind of going on. And I was trying to, like, no, you guys are doing great. Keep going. Like, I'm launching this thing. And we got to a point where I sat down with our team. We sat around a ping pong table. And I said, hey, listen, it's not going great. you guys need to know it's not going great. And you kind of heard me hinting at, like it's not going great. But this is like us just having a real conversation like a family. It's not going great. I'm going to do whatever I can to keep the lights on, to pay you before in this situation, I'll pay you before I pay myself. Like I'll figure out how to do like whatever. I'll do whatever I can. And until I feel called out of this work, which I kept like praying and be like, God, like it's going really bad. Like, can I just do something else? I think I could be successful. Just like this isn't working. But I never felt called out. So just telling my team, listen, I get like if you need stability, like now is not a stable time. So I don't know. And I had two of my team that came to me afterwards and were like, dude, we're in like 100%, like whatever, like we're with you. We're with you till the end. So if that's next month, so be it. And then 4 other employees over the course of the next 6 weeks all left and on good terms. Like, hey, I found another job. Hey, I'm doing this thing. And for me, I was kind of like, yeah, okay. It was fine. A friend of mine I did a life, I had a life coach, did this whole like 2-day long thing. And he had asked me, hey, do you have the dream team working for you right now? And I'm like, yeah, like I've got 2 people that I just adore. They're great. They're totally on mission with me. And I've got, the other 4, they're good people. They, their work is fine, but dream team, like, probably not. Lo and behold, like 2 months after that is when we're having this conversation. And then lo and behold, 2 months after that conversation, those 4 people gone. Crazy how stuff like that works out. But that helped me being open, honest with my team. I think that helped build trust with everybody. I mean, maybe people respected me less as a leader, as a business owner, but like I needed them to know that like if they could help, I wanted them to help. If they just knew that we're on mission together, I thought that would be really good. There's another conversation when we had moved. No, this was actually the same year. I remember we were at our. Was this the same year? It doesn't matter. I remember sitting around a table. It was another year that we were really struggling financially. I think it was 2013. Regardless, you guys, like seriously, does anybody care about the date? We're sitting around a table with four of our best friends, my wife and I, and they're like, Ryan, how's it going? And it's like, you guys, it's not going good. It is not going well. And I just remember sitting there crying. I remember them just feeling the love and support that they had for me. And the best thing I could do is be totally honest with them. And I remember one of the 4 friends just said, hey, if you guys like need help with your mortgage, like we got you. Like, don't worry about your money. Don't worry about, like, we'll take it. You need groceries, we'll get you groceries. And I just like lost it. It was one of the coolest times, feeling loved, accepted, and cared for. And it only came as a result of me being vulnerable, being totally open, honest, and very, very authentic. So I feel like that can pay dividends. And one more story about that. A month after that conversation with the 4 friends, I was at a wedding. We were filming this wedding in Ohio, and I remember it was during cocktail hour. I had a camera in hand, and I'm kind of getting some shots. And father of the bride called me over, and this was the 3rd wedding that we had done for their family. So we've gotten to know the family pretty well over the years. And he says, he's like, hey man, like you guys are doing such a great job. It's so great to have you here. I'm like, oh gosh, like we adore being with your family. You guys are so great. He's like, how's business going? And I knew in this moment, he's there chumming with his friends and whatever. And I'm like, well, I was like, it's not going that great. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, it's been a struggle. I'm learning, I'm growing, but we're just not, we're not at the place that we need to be. And, and he's like, hang on. And he reaches in his pocket, gets his wallet out. He's kind of digging, and he pulls out a business card. He hands me his business card, and he's the CEO of this like massive company. And he says, after things settle down after the wedding, give me a call. He's like, we got some work. I'm sure that we can get you. I'll hook you up with our marketing person, whatever. Being open, honest, in a relationship like that led to over $100,000 in work. in the time where we needed it the most. It was beautiful and just a serendipitous part of the story. That work came shortly after the exit of the 4 employees. And so the timing of all of that stuff was just, it was beautiful. It was cool. And that was, I think, one of the neatest things that I've learned, is that being open and honest, being like really authentic, not faking it till you make it, making it, not fake it. I equate that, like when people say that, I'm like, no, because like my story, it's like not faking it, like the things that have helped me, and maybe like I don't know, I struggle with that idea that fake it till you make it. In maybe I have done that in different parts of work or business, but the parts that really stand out to me is like when I didn't fake it, but when I was really honest. So I hope that's an encouragement for you. Number 3, let's move on to number 3. Giving is the best way to build a business. Book recommendation, The Go-Giver by Bob Burg. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the other guy's name. I've had Bob on my podcast before. He's helped me out with he was on a virtual summit that we hosted. John something? This is embarrassing. The Go-Giver, incredible book. It's a short read, and it really is beautiful. So much so when I go to events now, one of the things that this book helped me change my mindset on is, I would go to an education event, workshop, or something like that, and instead of like me thinking like, okay, like what am I going to get from this event? I just reframed that, and I said, what can I give? Who can I help at this event? Like, and I would say a little prayer, like, God, like just bring whoever, I should have a conversation with, like, may I be available to be helpful. And in doing that, oh my goodness, sitting in session, having hallway conversations, mealtime, drinks later, all of those things that happen with a different mindset, instead of me thinking like, maybe this person that I can land business with. And not that I'm not thinking that, like would I want to work with this person? And maybe they are, but just like my main goal is to think like, is there a way that I can help them? Is there a way that I can serve them? When I started this brand, it was like, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to serve corporate commercial filmmakers. 300 podcasts later, multiple courses, tons of free like downloads and blueprints and guides and jumpstart, PDFs and just things that I've created to say like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what works. This is what I did. This didn't work. Use this framework, use this template, learn faster, learn from my mistakes. Doing that has helped me, number one, build a ton of reciprocity where people just feel like indebted for the people who have taken advantage of some of those free things and have gotten wins from those things. And when that happens, it creates this life-giving cycle, right? The Bible says it's when you give, that's when you receive. It says it's something like that. And that couldn't be a truer statement for any of us, whether or not you believe the Bible. When you do something for somebody else, the feeling that you get, it's like, it's hard to like explain that feeling. And so again, like another one of those like magical things, mystical things. But in giving in your business, if you can give, if you can serve your clients at a high level, if you can give them free content, guide them. And I had a conversation with one of our clients just this week. He had called because we were trying to schedule something and something wasn't working. So he's like, I need to call the boss. So I get this phone call from him and I'm talking and we got the thing figured out. And I said, hey, how is the video? We've done 2 really powerful stories for you guys. How are you guys? What's the feedback? He's like, oh, we're launching a new website. It's going to take a while. And I was like, dude, like those videos we did for you are so, they're so powerful. Do not wait until your website is done. Do this Put them on YouTube, put them on Wistia, Vimeo, wherever. Put in your email signature, put a link like, hey, check out this powerful story of transformation, one of our clients. Let people see this. Who cares if they're not seeing it on your beautiful website? I know it's going to be amazing, but like, you can help more people today. You can maybe get another client today instead of waiting until everything is perfect. So that was just a small example of me. I gave him a couple other ideas. We created a blog post based on an email that I gotten from his team, because I was like, they're not doing anything with this video. Like, I need to help our clients. Apparently, I need to help our clients like get this stuff out there in the right channels so that they can get it in front of the right people, so that they can change the world with in this service. The guy that I'm talking to, they do an incredible, like, the work that they do is unbelievable. We left that conversation, and I think I planted a little seed of like, oh man, that was, I think this guy was like, that was actually really helpful. And so, not that he feels indebted to me, but the idea is that if you can help people like that in just small ways, that stuff comes back to you. And if nothing else, I got off the call and I was like, good, I'm glad I helped them. I think that they are going to do something about this and get the videos out there instead of waiting until their website is done, which could be months from now. Yeah, this abundance versus scarcity mindset. I talked about this earlier in a post that I shared not too long ago, and I created a business, this Studio Sherpas brand. I'm educating, helping, giving like behind the scenes on how we budget, how we build these blueprints, how we do all this stuff for our clients that makes us unique and allows us to charge what we charge. And I'm basically equipping all these like potential competitors in my own backyard. People are like, Ryan, what? Like, why are you? What are you doing? You're like giving the secret sauce. Newsflash: the only secret sauce is you. You're the only. Everybody can find all the things that they want on YouTube for free, right? I mean, a course that you buy, that takes somebody ideally from step A to Z so that they can do it step by step. YouTube, it's like how to do this one thing. Google it, find it. It's on Google, it's on YouTube, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, for me, if I can help somebody, I want to help somebody. I know that there's nothing new under the sun. I know that if they're not going to find the answer that they're looking for from me, they're going to find it from somebody else. Or they're going to make a mistake. And if I can help save them a mistake so that they can make a bigger impact in the world sooner with the videos that they create for their clients, that's what I want to do. That's my mission. And sure, it maybe in some ways makes me have to think a little bit more strategically about like, hey, we better be on our game here at Tell Studios. If Ryan's equipping other filmmakers, other videographers with even the same way that we talk to our clients, if Ryan's doing that, what's going to set us apart? Well, it's going to be our personality. It's going to be our mission. It's going to be our vision. It's going to be our personality plus some really cool videos with a really cool strategy or a really effective strategy. So the reciprocity that I'm creating in the world of filmmakers, it fills me up. I love it. I'm passionate about it. And it also, I think, forces us, our production company, to not be lazy, which I think is good. I think that's good for all of us. Number 4, coffee is everything. Just kidding. This one is community is everything. Community creates life. It creates connectedness. I share that story about when we moved to this small town. We were trying to get these 2 couples to move down to Royal Oak, this like hip city that we lived in with restaurants and sidewalks and parks and all the cool stuff. People with like tattoos, and they looked cool and different. We tried getting there like, nah, we like these dirt roads. We like where we live. And we're like, oh, it's so boring. And then something changed in both my wife and I. And there was a moment she came home after hanging out with the ladies, and she's like, hey, what do you think about moving to Clarkson? And I was like, yeah, I don't know why I'm saying yeah right now, but I think that's what we're supposed to do. And a year and a half later, we're living in Clarkston, and we chatted with both these couples, these families, and said, "Hey, we're moving here to do life intentionally with you because we think we can have a bigger impact in the world if we band together, if we kind of like not co-parent, but like, you know, feel free to discipline my kid or let me speak life into your kid, and like let's let that be the expectation that this little community of friends agrees to." And they were like, "We're in 100%." And so we moved, and this has been the last 9 years that we've been doing life on a very intentional level with these families, and our kids are best friends and we are best friends, and it is this beautiful thing. And there's no way in the world that we would have experienced the amount of life, the amount of generosity, the amount of acceptance and freedom. There's all sorts of things that have come from us being a part of this community. When I hosted the first Onward Summit for corporate and commercial filmmakers in this very room, I had 23 people that came from around the globe. 2 people from Hawaii. How random is that? They didn't even know each other before they got here. There was a moment. We had sessions in this room. There were multiple tables. There was a moment in between sessions. I stepped over into our little kitchen area, and we've got windows that look into the studio. And I was standing there. The door to the studio was open. And I was like, I'm like, it's hard to hear right now. And it was because the conversations in this room, conversations in the kitchen were so loud. And these were people that didn't know it, had never met each other in person. But here they are sharing their own business stuff, their own personal struggles, to the point where I couldn't even hear. And I was like, this is unbelievable. This community believes in the power of community, believes in the power of sharing and being open and honest, believes in community over competition, collaboration over competition. I that was like one of like the coolest moments in my life that I was like, wow, the fact that I get to be a part of this is incredible. And then the second event that we hosted was last year, and it was we're coming off of COVID and no events. And so our event was a lot smaller. We only had 12 people. I thought about canceling the event because I'm like, 12 people, like, we had double the first time we did this. I decided to go through it. Grateful that a community of friends around me said, like, you need to do it, dude. Like, those people, they're really going to get a lot out. If it's just you and only 12 people, people are going to get a lot out of that. We did this event, and every person at least at one point throughout our 3 days together, 3.5 days, crying, hugging. The sense of gratitude and the sense of community at like a whole other level than I ever thought I could be a part of like this. It was unbelievable. Doing this business, I think doing any business on your own is a mistake. Isolating yourself in life, feeling like you have to figure things out. And certainly there are things that you need to figure out on your own. But I think that like when you look at like the 80-20 rule, I think that's 20% of the things you need to learn on your own. The 80%, if you can learn alongside others, if you can have wiser people that are one step or a lot of steps ahead of you, that's where you're going to get the most fulfillment. That's where you're going to learn the fastest. That's where you're going to see things in your own life, in your own business that you wouldn't be able to see. You can't see things because we run our businesses. We're like this. We have blinders on the sides. We're so focused on this thing, and little do we know that there's an opportunity to make a lot of money here. There's an opportunity to do something different over here and save a ton of time. And when you're in a circle, like a mastermind group or something like that, and people are sharing and giving ideas and building on top of ideas, you come away from that being like, oh my goodness, I could never have thought of that on my own. And so the power of community, the power of mastermind groups, so incredible. So may my encouragement to you just be like, don't do this on your own. Don't feel like you have to, especially in the world of video. Like, I've created this community so that you don't have to be alone, so that you can share and you can be honest, you can be open. And there are other people, a lot of other people in this community that have that same mindset and that want to serve and that want to help and that want to see you grow in your video business. The last one, number 5, is you don't learn until you launch. If you've listened to this podcast, I've probably said that, 100 times. So 1/3 of the episodes, people say like, "Oh, Ryan, what's one of your biggest regrets in business?" And I'm like, I was afraid to start something. I didn't do it. I had imposter syndrome. Just didn't think it was gonna, didn't think I'd get to 100 episodes, so I didn't do the thing. Or I wanted to launch a course, but I was like, who's going to buy it? I thought I'd market to a specific industry or business, but then I'm like, who am I to, try to serve that? Or I wanted to do a documentary, but I've never done one. So, and there's plenty of other great documentary filmmakers out there. Why even try? I remember Matt Davis, who helped me start Studio Sherpas back in the day. He had, in I think 2010, started a video coaching business. So he was coaching other filmmakers. And as soon as he launched that, I was like, oh man, I didn't realize, but that's what I want to do. But now that Matt's doing it, I can't do it. There's already somebody in the space. Such small thinking. Oh, wee little Ryan. And I didn't want to offend him. I didn't want to like compete against him, right? Again, I was thinking very closed-minded. What's the opposite of abundance? The opposite of abundance. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, I can't, I just can't do it. Like it's, he'll be upset. There's not enough work to go around. It's going to make it harder for me to market. He's already talking the same, like he just won the whole industry. It's what I was thinking. So he does that for a while. Then he stops, he takes a break. And a year or two later, we're working on a job together. We're in a car ride after the job. And he says, hey, I'm thinking about starting this coaching thing back up. And I was like, I looked over at him. I was like, he was driving. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what if I did that with you? I was really nervous. And then he looks at me. He's like, are you serious? And I looked back at him. I was like, are you serious? And then he's like, did we just become business partners? It was sort of like that. Step Brothers, get the reference. Did we just become best friends? That happened. And I regret thinking through the people who I could have helped years before that. I'm so glad that that Matt threw that out there, and then I had the guts in that moment to like throw my little thing out there, like, hey, like, what do you think we do it together? And he said yes, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it's just a beautiful story. My point is, you're never gonna feel completely ready. If you're like, oh, I think I want to start a podcast to market to clients that could hire us for video production. But I've never launched a podcast. So, and Ryan has 300 episodes. That's like, I'll never get there. So, I might as well not do. What else could I do? I should do something else. Even though, man, that would be so fun to do a video podcast. Those are the things that we tell ourselves. Those are the things that I've told myself. Go ugly early. Don't wait until your website is done. Don't wait until you've got the perfect email funnel. Don't wait until you've got your favorite logo. Don't wait until your demo reel is finished and perfect. Ship it. Stop holding back. Stop not doing the thing that you feel really called to do because you want it to be perfect. If there's one thing out of these 5 things that I've learned, it's the disservice that I had. How do I say this? The disservice that I offered. Not doing the thing that I really felt called to do was a disservice to people because I had something that I could help people with. I didn't have everything. I thought Matt was a great video coach. He probably still is. But I had something that I could offer. I could help somebody. So to think that, I had to have it all together, that's not true. To think that, if you're thinking about starting a video business and you're like, well, I don't have, I'm waiting until I get a bigger reel, more work to show. No. If you can show just a little video, short, just so people can say like, oh, you do video, cool. I mean, if you have a camera or you can get access to a camera and you have somebody that, might be willing to give you some money, that's how your business can start. And it can grow from there. You don't start with like having a studio. If you're looking at me and you're like, oh man, Ryan's got a team and a studio, and like, it has not always been like this. I've worked for years in our little bungalow with like no room. Like my desk took up the entire space of my office. And that's how it was for a long time before we ever got a small office and then a little bit bigger office and then, an employee. And I didn't start with 4 employees and, a huge production space with a cycle. It's not how I started. You don't want to start there. Don't write a business plan. Somebody posted in our Facebook group. They're like, oh, I'm writing a business plan. And, I forget how it was worded, but it was just like, I was like, dude, don't not start your business. Start your business. Maybe figure out a business, but I don't think any, it's like 99% of us don't have a business plan when we start. I think when I first started this business, I should have a business plan because I've heard that you're supposed to have a business plan. Business plan is like, who do you want to serve? How do you want to help them? And what video are you going to make that is going to help them? That's a business plan. You start knocking on doors, email everybody you know, post a message on Facebook, ask people if they can hire you, ask them if they know somebody that can hire you. That's how you start. Nobody's going to want to see, well, show me your business plan before I hire you. Because I just want to make sure that you really got this, like, this thing is well thought out. I think like being a couple of years in, I mean, I don't feel like I really got a business plan until I was 12 years into my business. I don't think I really knew what I was doing. I really didn't start taking, excuse me, I really didn't start taking this more serious than just I'm a little freelancer, solopreneur. I felt like that for the first 2004 until we had our second kid. So like 2011. So was that 7 years before I really was like, you know what? I am a boss. I am a CEO. This is the direction that I want to go. I want to build a business, not just become a really good filmmaker. I had to make that distinction, and I went down that path. And but if I would have started and like, okay, I'm a CEO, and I would have messed everything up. So I'm glad I started where I did. All right. That's it. 300 episodes, 5 things I've learned, plus a bonus 0 thing. Very first thing, whatever, overarching theme. Was this helpful? Is there one of those things that stood out to you that you're like, man, I resonate with that one? That's really helpful. Would love for you to leave a comment. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, in this case, would love just to hear any big takeaways from this episode. What else am I supposed to say at the end of the show? I got notes. If you want show notes, you can go to studiosherpas.com/300 because that's where you're going to find them, except for if you're listening to this right this very minute live, that URL does not exist, and it won't for 2 more Mondays from now. So please, well, you can go there, but you're going to get the 404. Remember, we've got our community. If you're not signed up for our emails, get signed up because we've got a couple of really cool events that are coming up that you're going to want to be a part of. One of them is how to hire editors. I know pretty much everybody I talk to in this industry, no matter where they're at in their business, always wants another editor. And there's the right way to do it, a wrong way to do it. You can learn from a lot of my mistakes. And I'm bringing on another expert who is doing this, and this is his main job. So that's going to be an awesome workshop, and that one's going to be totally free. So if you just go to studiosherpas.com scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a place to put your name and your email address, and you will be notified of those events. But that's where you want to be. So make sure you are signed up for our emails. And that's all I have for today. Feel free to email me, ryan@studiosherpas.com. And if you are a corporate client that's watching this video, you should just hire us to do your video. I mean, I seem like a pretty upstanding young man. Can't even talk. Right? Yeah. Okay. Jokes. I'm full of jokes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your encouragement. The fact that I'm at 300 episodes, this is such a cool thing. I'm celebrating with you. I was going to like have a beer or something, but I'm actually going to coach sixth grade football after this, and figured that I probably shouldn't have had a beer right before practice. Thought maybe that was a good life decision for me. So instead, I'm drinking some coffee, and I love you very much from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you soon on another episode. Till then, onward and upward, my friend. Adios. And that's a wrap. Seriously, thank you for being here live. The chat didn't work. Maybe there was nobody here. I don't know. The only thing in chat says hi. Okay, I'm done. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the podcast, about anything I'm doing. Let's chat. Okay. Okay, now it's time to hit the stop button. Where do I do that? Thank you again for being here. I'll talk to you soon.